Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be reviewing the Honda CR-V Hybrid. I've been living with this for the week, so I'm going to tell you guys what it's actually like to live with and whether or not you should get this instead of the RAV4 Hybrid. Before we get into this video, as always, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood of the CR-V is a 2-liter 4-cylinder hybrid that puts out 204 horsepower and then 247 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy with this is 40 around town and then 34 on the highway, so 37 combined. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Starting with the hood, the silver paint really shows off the body lines quite well, and it contrasts nicely with the headlight cluster that's darker, and you can see with the grille blacked out. Got little rocket boosters there at the very bottom. Very interesting design detail. Steering wheel setup is 235 by 55 by 19. Wheels are completely blacked out. You've got unpainted fender flares. You do have a blacked out mirror cap, which is nice. The rest of the bodywork at the bottom is also unpainted, and then you've got some silver trim around the windows, which kind of interesting when everything else is blacked out with the CR-V. This leads us to the key fob where we have our lock and unlock function, the opening for the hatch, remote start, Honda logo there on the back. And when it comes to space, again, this is a RAV4 competitor, so it's going to have a similar amount of storage. It doesn't go quite as far as the RAV4 in terms of the depth, but the height's pretty darn good overall. And then we do have a little 12-volt here in the back as well. Taillights swoop down, and you've got a little squiggle that goes across. Of course, we got our hybrid badge here on the back. Now, this is funny. That exhaust tip is a dud, but that one's actually real. So it gives it a uniform look to have the covers on both of them, but it's still funny. This leads us inside. So we've got nice soft touch on the door panel. It's got a black trim that goes across, and then you can see the orange stitching on the seats. I think they did a good job with that part of the design. Good legroom here in the rear. We also have some vents down below. We've got some USB ports as well. And then headroom, it does come down a little bit, but overall it's pretty good. Keyless entry up front. Soft touch here at the top of the door panel and then down below as well. All of our window controls here. Your mirror adjustments, memory seat functionality, blind spot monitoring. And then the front seat again has that nice perforated trim with the stitching. Power adjustments there on the side. Steering wheel's manually adjustable. More soft touch on the dash there. That's to open up the hatch, and then your stability control too. Popping it on. Not too dramatic. Taking a look at the steering wheel, we've got the Honda logo front and center. Heated steering wheel function is actually at the bottom of the steering wheel. Adaptive cruise control with your lane centering. Paddle shifter is actually for the regen system on the back. And then you've got controls for the center screen. Traditional stocks on the back of the steering wheel. Now you can see what I've been averaging fuel economy wise with it, so a little bit less than what the window sticker says, which happens from time to time. Drive modes will pop up here, and I like the red and aggressive kind of setting with the sport mode, but I've just had it in normal mode the whole time. But you can scroll through and change what this displays information wise, so it is a little bit customizable. Backup camera in reverse, decent resolution, but a little bit on the older side of things. Infotainment system's very straightforward. Shortcut bar there on the side. It's a touchscreen. It's pretty quick to respond, but relatively basic system. We've got the cool design with the vent that goes all the way across. Well, it's not all vent opening, but it looks like it for the design. And then really nice finish on the climate controls here, dual zone climate. One thing that does annoy me about Honda's climate system is you can't have auto and recirculate on. You have to have one or the other. Heated seats there, wireless phone charging pad, got a bunch of USB ports, shifter there. And then we've got our drive mode select, hill descent control, parking brake, brake hold. Got some cup holders there as well. And then you guys can see here at the center console. Soft touch trim up top. And then we do have a sunroof. Now this one has equipped stickers for about $42,000, so it's right in line price-wise with the RAV4. Let's drive it. Setting off in the CR-V, and you'll notice with the shifter when you get in one of these hybrids, there's D for drive, which is normal, and you can use the paddles to increase the regen. Now this is a manual system, and so it'll take away the regen. So you can see there's no real regen here, and then I press the paddle and then it starts doing regen. If I put it in the B mode, whatever I have it set at, so I can have very little regen or I can have a lot of regen, it sticks there, which is cool. So if you just want to drive this around as kind of like a more of an EV style where you've got a lot of regen, you can do that. It is very straightforward, so that's a big plus. The seats are comfortable in the CR-V. Wireless phone charging pad's in a nice place, easy to use. You can turn it off if you want, which is always a nice feature. You got a little on-off button there. And I love, I mean, I'll show you guys with the acceleration. I love how this accelerates, actually. A lot of people will crap on CVTs and eCVTs, but less so on eCVTs. But if a manufacturer makes the transition smooth enough, then it's not bothersome at all. And that's what I found with the CR-V. Getting onto the highway, yeah, the engine, you know, it's ringing out, the revs are high, but the transitions are so smooth that you don't feel it. So you just feel like you have this continuous wave of acceleration, very similar to an EV. Now, it doesn't have nearly as much power as a lot of EVs, again, just 204 horsepower, but it's actually been quite impressive. And I actually prefer this powertrain to a turbo 4-cylinder when it comes to acceleration. It just performs better. It's just more seamless. So we'll kind of get on a little bit here. You can see, boom, it's just seamless. Just very quick. It's like a really good torque converter automatic in terms of how quick it is to transition. Ride quality is good. I mean, again, this is ultimately kind of like economy plus when it comes to cars. It's not quite full-on economy like a HR-V would be, for example, but it is still, it's a great daily driver. I've really enjoyed just going around in this. And so when we put it all together, and actually I want to get you guys one more acceleration here. So we're doing the regen, and just look at that, the power comes on. It's just so seamless. Again, it's not the quickest thing on the planet, but from the seat of your pants, it just feels smooth. And that's what I think a lot of people want with cars like this. They don't care about getting from 0 to 60 in 1 second. They want to be able to get to 60 miles an hour, but more important, they want it to be smooth. So I actually prefer a lot of the dynamics and just the overall drivability of this compared to the RAV4. I think the RAV4 hybrid's really good. It is more economical. I do like the fact that it has a bigger displacement 4-cylinder. That seems to help it get better fuel economy on the highway compared to this. But I do like the transitions with this system more. And I like the ease of use with the whole paddle system to do the regen. I think that's really nice. So there's just a lot of benefits. This is easy to drive, and it gets good enough fuel economy, I'd say. And the other thing is CR-V availability is way better than RAV4 availability. It is a night and day difference. Like, and that's what I'll close the video with. A lot of people, you know, are wondering, should you actually wait for RAV4? And I'd say that, I mean, I think this does pretty much all the stuff that the RAV4 does. It's not quite, like I said, it's not quite as fuel efficient, but you can get one today, and you can get a deal. Versus the RAV4, you're going to pay MSRP. Some dealers would probably try to get over, I bet, but you're going to pay MSRP, and you're going to have to wait for one to come in. So, you know, I'd kind of pick and choose, right? Getting a deal and getting one when you want it versus having to wait. And the other thing with Toyota is you don't really get to pick a lot of options with them. Honda standardizes their cars, but when I say not a lot of options, it's like, okay, we've got a black one coming in 2 months. Do you want it or not? That's what your experience is going to be with buying a RAV4. Versus the CR-V, it's going to be like, oh, there's got a few in the lot. So do you want the silver one? Do you want the red one? Do you want the, you know what I mean? But let me know your thoughts.